And the call around. Senator Roberts, you have the call.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you all for being here this morning. My questions are regarding the Gender Equity Ambassador. Can you please advise the total remuneration package for the Gender Equity Ambassador per year?
Senator, I'll have to take that on notice.
What is it roughly?
It's based on a standard SES Band 2 salary, Senator.
So what's the salary?
I'll have to get the precise
We'll get that,
details
Senator.
for you.
These are arrangements which are been in place for ambassadors, different levels of.
Thank you.
We don't just make this stuff. You know, the various positions, ambassadors, the thematic ambassadors, and heads of mission will be paid at a particular level in a pre-existing remuneration structure.
Thanks, Minister. I'd like the total remuneration package. And could you confirm if it's a full-time position, please?
Yes, Senator, it's a full-time position.
Thank you. What's the purpose?
The purpose of the Ambassador for Gender Equality is to advance the interests of all people in our region, to ensure that all people, regardless of their gender, have an equal opportunity to contribute to the societies they live in.
Thank you. Can you please advise if the Ambassador plans to visit these countries, and if she does, when will she be visiting? Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan and Pakistan?
Senator, the Ambassador's Forward Travel Program is not final yet. I'm aware of an important multilateral visit that she's planning for next month. The focus for her work will predominantly be in our region, and that's the focus of our international assistance more broadly is in the Indo-Pacific, and that's where we have partners who want to work closely with us to ensure that all people in their societies do have an equal opportunity to contribute.
Can I just make a few comments here, Senator Roberts? First, this is a position that has been in place for I don't know how many years, but a long time.
Since 2011.
Since 2011. Senator Payne appointed Ambassador for Gender Equality. The name was subsequently changed, but it's a role that has existed for over a decade under both Labor and Liberal governments. I would make this point. I think it is well established that gender inequality inhibits economic development.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think,
without
you and I come from different political places, Senator Roberts, but you would agree, if girls can't go to school, women can't participate in paid work, if women are more economically insecure, that is going to affect a country's economic development.
My belief has long been, Minister, my party leader is a female, and my belief has long been that if we exclude any group of people, we're missing out on their views. Ms Copus-Campbell has worked in Papua New Guinea, has worked in development previously. We live in a region where development outcomes for women and girls are a long way from where we want them to be. And we argue about women's representation, or we argue about a whole range of ways in which women are still not equal to men, but the reality in many countries in our region is basic propositions around access to education, around we have a family violence, the scourge of family violence exists in all countries, but there are countries in the world where this is at levels which are unimaginable. So the idea of this thematic ambassador is to work with other countries and civil society to try and lessen this. And it matters. To try and
lessen the inequalities. So it's. I've seen some of the criticisms. I understand, there's, domestic, some of the political reasons why. But as I travel in the region,
We want a world where young, girls can aspire to do what women can do in this country. And we don't have such a world. So it is, the ways in which we try and work with others to achieve that include through this ambassador.
Well, there's a battle going on. I can tell you a story of meeting with an executive in West Virginia, northern West Virginia, back in 1981. I was fairly young. And she was, I'm still young. She was telling me that she was appointed to her position. You look young.
I wish.
She was appointed to her position because she was a female to meet affirmative action quota, and she said it's highly embarrassing to be that way. Whereas my mother took the opposite position. You treat women as women, meaning two things. They are different, and they bring a raft of characteristics that men don't have. And that's wonderful for diversity. And what my belief has been is that we should be employing women because that increase, and other minorities because, well, women are not minorities, they're a majority, actually. But you know what I'm getting at. Other groups that have been, the other groups that are minorities, because they bring a diversity of views, not because of their gender. And my office currently has exactly 50-50 female-male, not because we want to comply with the ratio, but because those women are damn good, and we want their views. And I'm thinking that wouldn't it be better to just show by our actions that we value women? I mean, you're the Foreign Affairs Minister. When you go visiting a country, you're showing that Australia values women. And
yes, but you need lots of ways in which you try and tackle a problem which, inequality, development, these are sort of multifaceted problems. So we also have thematic ambassadors who, as I said, they do things that I wouldn't be able to do. We don't have ministers engaging at some of the levels at which ambassadors can work, or being able to spend the time on one particular issue. I mean, there are extraordinary women through our region, in Southeast Asia and the Pacific, who are doing extraordinary things and are, courageous and, sometimes don't get as much support as they would seek. And we can, at officials level, can work with civil society, for example, or with particular parts of government departments which are seeking to do good things. These are things we can do, and it's just another way in which Australia seeks to engage in the region in order to try and support the aspirations and development objectives of the people who live in the Indo-Pacific, but particularly in the Pacific Islands and ASEAN regions.
Well, Minister, with respect, and I sincerely mean that because I have enormous respect for
one thing, you always are respectful in how you deal with me, Senator Roberts.
And I sincerely respect your abilities. However, I think that some of these positions, and going back to 2011 doesn't justify having the position. So I hear your arguments, I acknowledge them.
Sure.
So often these days, positions like this and other ambassadors are created to tick box, and they're not meaningful. I'm just making sure that part of my role is to make sure that...
Sure, and you're entitled to ask me the questions, and I appreciate
properly
how you've asked them. What I would say is if Ambassador Copus Campbell is absolutely not a ticker box kind of person.
And Australia was the second country...
And if you'd like to meet her, I'm sure she'd be very happy
Sure.
to engage with members of Parliament and senators.
Thank you very much.
Australia was the second country in the world to give women the vote.
Indeed.
And we were better off for it.
Thank you,
South
Senator Roberts.
South Australia was the first place in the world where women could stand up.
Thank you, Senator Roberts. I'll hand